Hi, my name is Peter Kim, and I believe that food deserves a museum. I believe this so much that 3 years ago, I pretty much dropped everything to start working on creating the Museum of Food and Drink, or Moffat. Moffat will be the world's first large-scale museum with exhibits you can eat. My colleagues and I are building this museum. We want it to be a global center for learning about the culture, history, science, production, and commerce of food and drink. So if you think about it, it's actually kind of crazy that a food museum like this doesn't exist yet. And here in New York City, we have museums for culture, for history, art, science. We have a museum of mathematics, moving image, sex, but not food. And yet food lies at the core of our lives, and we make decisions every day that have far-reaching implications. That's the museum. Let's take the cheeseburger, the humble cheeseburger, quotidian cheeseburger. That bun, it's not just a bun. The entirety of human history lies in that bun. Yeah, the entirety of history, all the way back to the Stone Age, when prehistoric humans ate crude flatbreads, to the dawn of agriculture and with it civilization, to the airy leavened breads that ancient Egyptians ate, to the milling technology that was developed by Mesopotamians that allowed them to have fine wheat flour, to the development of bread as something with deep cultural and religious significance, as it became a symbol for the body of Christ for Christians and for Exodus for Jews, to the spread of bread around the world, to the point where every culture has its bread, whether it's a bagel or baguette, the ciabatta, paratha, pita, or tortilla. And then to the explosion of technology in the 20th century that allowed us to produce industrially produced bread like that bun. The tomato slice, that's not just a tomato. That tomato is connected to an economic system. That tomato was handpicked. And while in recent years, labor conditions for domestically grown tomatoes have gradually improved, over half of the tomatoes that we eat in the US come from Mexico. And many of those tomatoes are harvested by people in shockingly poor labor conditions and labor camps where they're being paid under $10 a day. That pickle slice, not just a pickle slice. There is a world of bacteria, living bacteria on each pickle slice, eating the sugars in that cucumber and turning it into lactic acid, which is in turn turning that pickle into something more acidic, it's preserving it, but also giving it that tang. That beef patty, not just a beef patty. There are 450 gallons of water that went into producing that beef patty. There are greenhouse gases that are produced along with it. There is an economic system and generations-long livelihoods that rely on that beef patty. There are people who personally identify with raising the beef for that beef patty. And then there is the profound question, of course, of whether is there a moral issue with eating meat in the first place. And when you take this whole burger as an ensemble, and you think about the thousands of people and farms and machines and trucks and distribution networks and marketing that goes into that cheeseburger, and the millennia of human history that brought us to this place where we could do this in the first place, you realize that in this cheeseburger, there's quite literally a world of information to explore. And I haven't even gotten into what happens when you eat that burger, right? I mean, there are hundreds of factors that go into how we perceive the flavor of the burger. There, of course, are the five senses, but then there's our own personal histories, there's our genetic disposition. And then when it goes into our bodies, we have this amazing machine called a digestive system that can turn those cheeseburgers into you. And just a brief pause to appreciate the digestive system. One of my favorite parts of the human body. You guys know the movie Back to the Future, and when I was a kid, I used to look at Mr. Fusion, in the thing in the DeLorean, and I used to think like, oh, what an amazing machine, Doc. He can put like food scraps, he can put anything in this and turn it into fuel for the DeLorean and get his 1.21 gigawatts and travel through time. And I thought, wow, it'd be great if we had a thing like Mr. Fusion, but it turns out we do have Mr. Fusion. It's in our bodies. Our digestive systems, if anything, are far more impressive than Mr. Fusion ever was. In any case, I think it's incredibly important for us to learn about, to understand and appreciate the ways in which food is intertwined with the world around us, the ways in which food is connected to economy, the environment, our health, our cultural identities. And so at Moffat, we want to show people how exciting it is to learn and care about food in a way that's accessible and fun. In a breakfast cereal exhibition, you'd see giant machines making cereal before your eyes. We would tell you the story of breakfast cereal all the way back to its genesis as a food developed by Seventh-day Adventists to, among other things, cure the urge to masturbate. Oh, how far cereal has come. We would show people the marketing strategies that are used by companies to sell their products. In the coffee exhibition, you would be able to travel the coffee-growing world at the press of a button and taste coffees from Indonesia, Ethiopia, Hawaii. In the kitchens exhibition, you'll be able to see and use historically accurate kitchens from around the world. In this case, a medieval Japanese kitchen. And of course, we'll have a rooftop garden that highlights biodiversity, workshops, classes, and a restaurant where you'll be able to eat from a historical menu. Imagine being able to eat in a restaurant and have the food of Han Dynasty or ancient Roman food. So I can't wait to go to this museum myself, which is part of the reason why I'm working so hard on this. And fortunately, I'm working with an extraordinary team of people, and we are on our way to opening this museum in 2019. But that's really just the beginning. After that, we want this museum to continue to grow, expand, and continue to expand in phases until one day the Museum of Food and Drink is a cultural institution with the scale and the stature of a museum like the American Museum of Natural History or the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Because I believe that food deserves a museum like that. Thank you.